In Jonah chapter 2, and the focus most recently has been on idolatry. Because, truth be told, it's a really, really big topic in the Bible. Some would argue that it is the premier topic of the Old Testament and the signature struggle of the human heart. That every sin in the end is the sin of misplaced worship, and that means that there is some lesser thing, some idol, that is being affirmed. So, Jonah chapter 2 is the breath-catching prayer of this prophet who is fleeing from God, and from the belly of the beast we get this repentance for running, we get this confession of sin, amazement at grace. All that flows naturally. And then in Jonah chapter 2, he's talking about those things, and then all of a sudden, seemingly out of nowhere, Jonah blurts, "Those who cling to worthless idols turn away from God's love for them. But I, with shouts of grateful praise, will sacrifice to you. Salvation comes from the Lord." So you might think, idols in the belly of a whale, like what how? Well, the point is, yes, idols are that insidious. They're that omnipresent. They're that subtle. You can go across the ocean to escape from God. It doesn't work, but even if you go across the ocean, you'll still find your false gods are already there. You've brought them with you. Psalm 115 sharpens this point. There we read, "Their idols are silver and gold, the work of human hands. Those who make them will be like them, and so will all who trust in them," which is just sort of repeating. So, look, we don't merely use what we worship. We become what we worship. We get shaped and become like what we worship. The object of our highest affections is shaping us. And that's horrifying news if it's, money or power or, an easy life. I mean, if we're being shaped by something other than God, that's a really bad thing. Now, if our number one passion is God, then the idea that we're being shaped by God is, of course, incredibly good news and very liberating. So I just want to note here, Jonah chapter 2, the takeaway messages around idolatry. I want to be sure you've seen them. So we talked yesterday about the importance of naming the idol, of being self-aware enough to understand what we're really clinging to. Secondly, I just want to suggest that we notice the drift. Idols will seldom just jump into our lap. They're gonna sort of do an end run, right? We don't decide we're gonna worship our job, or we're gonna worship pleasure, or we're gonna whatever. We just don't consciously do that. It just sort of happens. And so we've got to name the idol, we've got to notice the drift, and then we need to renounce and replace. We need to say, no, that is not going to be my God. And we need to replace that false idol with God himself. So someone once told me that the second most important thing about me is what I thought of God, which immediately led me to wonder, so what's the most important thing about me? Well, that is what we'll take up tomorrow. Have a good day.